Hey, future editing Drake here. Before the video starts, I wanted to start a trend of having a cat cameo in every video. So this is Adrian. He is so heavy I have to hold him up with two hands, but I just wanted him to make a quick appearance. So there'll be a new cat in every video, so be sure to stay tuned for that. But enjoy the video. Thanks. See y'all. Hey y'all, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are from. Today we are going to look at a recent game I had in my grind to Master League actually, so I live streamed this, I guess about a week ago. But this is a Protoss versus Protoss, as you can see, versus a Cannon Rusher. So I wanted to visit this game, or revisit this game rather, because when I search Protoss versus Protoss Cannon Rush counter for 2025 especially, I don't see any like real relevant content coming up. I see PvP builds, things of that nature, but you're kind of hard pressed to find a good guide or a good counter. Let me turn this music down real quick. But just kind of a good video to show a solid counter to cannon rushing. So I wanted to show this at a fairly high level. Obviously, I'm not on the pro level by any means, but low master, high diamond 1 level. This is about 4.2k MMR. So about where most of us are, the rest of us, so to speak. So real quick, let me rewind just a little bit. Oops. I should know how to do this. So we're just going to go back a little bit. So there's a few different things, or a few different ways you can go about PvP in general. So right now, I'm sending a pylon scout out. You can see this. Let me go back even further, actually, to my pylon. Should be at about 18. Yep. Exactly 18, actually. Look at that. So I'm making my pylon. Some people do assert that the pylon scout is actually the worst of both worlds. I've seen that before. And you should either scout immediately or off of gate. I have always scouted off of pylon. It might not be completely efficient. It's what I do. If you have a different method and you think it's better for a certain reason, that's probably fine. I hear different philosophies off of it. We'll go ahead and pause and come up here. But ultimately, I chose to pylon scout. Just feels very intuitive to me. So if you have a different method and a reason why, feel free to comment below. Because I would be open to changing my method. But anyways, that allows me at about 54 seconds to see a forge that is about half completed. Now, immediately upon seeing this, I'm going to go... Okay, I'm getting cannon rushed, obviously. I'm going to start saving minerals, prioritizing minerals, so to speak, at this exact moment. I'm going to keep building probes, of course, but one thing to remember, and I'll pause one more, or no, I'll let it run while I say this. One thing to remember about cannon rushers, especially people who do it every single game, not just the person who says, okay, this game I'm going to mix it up and cannon rush. Those aren't the people I'm talking about. The people who cannon rush up until Master League. This guy is only maybe 100 MMR off of Master League, if I recall. They are going to have, let me do player camera here. They are going to have a worse game sense than somebody who just plays the game normally. So your goal in a cannon rushing scenario, what you need to have in the back of your mind is, I need to get to a normal game as soon as humanly possible, because I play, or you play, dozens if not hundreds of normal games of PvP. This person plays, dozens, hundreds of games of cannon rushing PvP. So the faster you get to a normal game, the better. So that's kind of the mentality you need to have. Because this guy is going to do everything cute to avoid that game. He does not want to play a normal game of StarCraft. He wants to cheese you out of MMR. Not to be mean to the cannon rushers, but it's true. They are afraid, or they want to avoid a normal game. So how do we create that normal game as soon as possible? this right here. And this strategy, again, I'm giving a lot of exposition to start out off with, but this strategy, I would say, works for me about 3/4 to 4/5 of the amount of time. It's not going to work every single time, just by the nature of, you know, how good their game sense actually is, how much of an actual cannon rusher they are, how much practice they have. So if they are actually just a good player, sometimes they will scout this nexus that you make, typically at their 3rd or 4th location. I highly recommend the typical 4th base location, where it's 2 steps away for them to scout. So once you see the forge, immediately with your scouting probe, make this base. Just immediately send it away, make this base. Most of the time, almost all the time, at least in my experience, they will not send a probe to follow and attack this probe. Usually they won't do that, because their game sense is good. Not being mean, it's just true. If they do send a probe to follow this probe, just send your probe back home. Try to sneak another probe out. If that doesn't work, then you will have to go into the strategy where you build a forge and you try to counter his cannons with your cannons, which I find to be a little more frustrating, a little less enjoyable, but that is also a valid strategy that you can use. It's probably the most common, to send 4 probes to attack the pylons, delay it as long as possible, and get your own cannons up. That is a strategy that I do recommend practicing if you can't get this right here. So let's go ahead and resume. And I will fast forward through this a little bit, because this next part of the game is just saying, it's almost a soft part of the game where you're saying, oh no, I'm so afraid, you're cannon rushing, I'm going to try and stop your cannon rush. But in reality, you're going up to 150 gas as soon as possible, hopefully more, and you're just mining from the space as long as possible. This is also a, how do you say, kind of a minor tip, but something that I recommend you do, is I recommend just hotkeying this nexus as 4 for what we're about to do, and unhotkeying your main nexus, taking your main nexus off your main hotkey, and you'll see why in a second. So he's cannon rushing. I do have to lose some more of the mining time, which is unfortunate. But I'm done over here. My nexus has completed, and if we look at his vision, he is not scouting. Remember, somebody who's cannon rushing is not going to be as good as the game. It's just it's just how it is. They're not going to be as good at the game. So what we did is we just used the recall ability to recall out all of our probes. We selected all of our available probes here. We just right-clicked on a mineral patch as fast as we could. We pushed 4, or whatever your Nexus hotkey is. I recommend 4. That's the most intuitive for me. Some people do it differently. We're going to push 4 and then immediately recall all the probes that are bunched up on that mineral patch. That's something that we saw. If we go back, yeah, we can see here. Right click, we're going to get them all with that recall. So what are we doing here? With the 150 gas that we mined, we're going to build a Stargate immediately, and we're going to build our tech back up. That's something else that's really important. Something else that I also find very helpful is before the probes get to your expansion, your second base, so to speak, you're going to build 2 gas geysers right here. So you can start mining gas immediately, right? I'm going to have 350 gas. I make a little mistake here by making a gateway before my first void ray. If your Nexus, you can see here we're doing a full base ray. This is kind of a crazy game. But if your Nexus is still alive, you can even use some of your chronos on your original Nexus to chrono out, I recommend the Void Ring. Putting it on hotkey 2 or 3 typically is what I do. Again, people have different ways. And you're immediately going to start denying mining. And start evening the odds. I recommend killing as many probes as you possibly can. Then I would kill the pylons as fast as possible. Get rid of his Nexus. Bring his tech back down. And just start taking his base out. Again, we're returning to a normal game as fast as possible. So we're taking our expansion. Meanwhile, he's just on one base. Also, I wonder if he got this while cannon rushing. That would be sad. But anyways, we're getting our warp gate, gateway. We're getting a robo because, again, remember, people who cannon rush. Again, people who cannon rush every game, not just some games, because those people are, you know, just kind of doing it casually. But people who cannon rush every game are scared of the game, or scared of PvP, whatever it is. And they're going to avoid a normal game at all costs, so expect DTs, right? We are going to get our robotics facility up as soon as possible and start getting void rays, because as you'll see, if we go to everyone vision, we'll see in just a moment. But we're just going to clear out his base and start going up to 2 bases, or 2 bases of our own. Especially in this window here where we're both getting reestablished. Because look, his warp gate is, you know, about 50 seconds behind ours. You know, we're building army, and our second base is already up. You can do all this because of the 100, 400, 700, 850 minerals, not even including the gateway and pylons, almost 1,000 minerals he invested in his cannon rush. So you did lose some mining time, you had to build a new Nexus, but he invested more minerals overall in his cannon rush. You lost about, you know, about the same, if not less, in total mineral cost from his cannon rush. So remember that, you're ahead, play like you're ahead. We get our base up, we are returning to a normal game, robotic facility out, immediately getting a observer, because what's he going to do? He's going to avoid a normal game. He is going to try to get one up on you as much as possible. You wouldn't believe how many corner bases I see. I keep looking at the live stream. I should look at the camera, but you wouldn't believe how many corner bases you'll see in this game, or in these types of games. So look for these as well. You can do this with just a hallucinated phoenix, which I believe is how I found this base. See, I'm just going to send them, and look at how I queued these up. I'm going to go across every single base. Okay, now let's look at this phoenix. Here it is. Look. I'm looking across the entire map. I don't quite get the entire middle. So I guess he could have taken the gold. That's something to watch for specifically on this map. But I'm just checking the corner bases, because remember, we are dealing with somebody who has Silver League strategy in Diamond 1 or low Master. This was almost Master League at this point, but we'll keep going. About 4.2k MMR. So I got my observer. I actually sent it across the map, because I think at this point I realized that I have time. So I'm building another observer to stay with my army. I see his base. I'm just going to take it out and get ahead, right? I know he can't defend this because I am ahead with minerals. I am up almost an entire saturated base. This is about halfway saturated at this point. And I am just going to get upgrades. I'm spending my money too well. But I'm just going to build a standard army, ensure I'm not getting supply blocked. There are my upgrades. Okay, there are my upgrades right there. But I'm just going to build a standard, well-rounded army, getting charge. I believe I even work up to Archons at this point. And here is why we get the Observer, because they are going to go DT, so they are going to hope that you forget something and you're all frustrated because you cannon rushed. But we're not going to forget that we're facing a cannon rusher. We are going to remember, hey, I need to build, let's go back to our vision here. Hey, we're going to build observers. We're not going to go die to something stupid. We're going to build a robust army with charge. I believe we get a Templar Archives here. Yeah, we're going to get Archons to counter his charge lots, because he does have his own Twilight Council wherever it is. I don't think I see it. Yeah, there it is. He's, he'll have his own tech. So we're just going to build our own well-rounded army. We're going to start moving away from Void Rays. We're just going to build a good well-rounded army with an observer. I would even like to see another observer just in case he tries to snipe it and get one up on us. But we can see here he's building his own DTs. We're even taking our third. We are just going to a normal game. He moves in, and if you look at the supply, the army supply, even like right as the... Let's give him a little bit more credit here. Let's go back before the fight starts. See, we have played a normal game, a normal macro game, and we're up 10 supply. 8 of his supply is in Dark Templar. We're even about to get our +1. I think it probably finishes right as the fight starts. So we have an upgrade advantage. We are building behind this. We are up nearly 2 bases at this point. And as the fight begins, it's 52 to 36 supply. We are up almost 20 supply. So we're just going to A move. We're not going to do anything fancy. And we're just going to win the game. You can see I even did a little bit of macro there. GG. It is that easy. Now, this is a strategy that is contingent on him just not scouting this in time. If he scouts it at all, once you have your Nexus up, maybe you have a shield battery up, you'll eventually be fine. But this strategy really does propel you into a normal game, would be a great way to say it, because that's what you want versus a cannon rusher. You have practiced your macro, you know the composition you need to build. Okay, I need to get Archons to counter his charge lots, I need to get a good array of Immortals, I need to get my upgrades, I need to get my air weapons because I'm eventually going to transition into air. You know these things. I'm going to build up on my bases. This third base is probably overkill, to be completely honest. But this is your goal, to get to this normal game, because you will be unstoppable if you just spend your money and have good macro. You can even see in the APM department, he's not terrible, but it's not even close, really. So, I mean, this is a full 60 actions more every minute. So, let's review just kind of what we're looking at. At the start, let me go all the way back as well. Go here. Camera follow. There we go. I'm going to go a little bit fast here just because this is in review. Okay, we're scouting pretty quickly. I scout off a pylon. You might have a different way. But with scouting, or off my pylon, I'm going to immediately see that half-finished forge. I'm going to start saving my minerals. I'm going to build my Nexus as soon as possible. It's very critical that you build it as soon as possible because a better cannon rusher might scout your base faster. So you just want things to be completed as soon as possible. Be prepared to rebuild your cyber core at that natural base. In this case, I built it at my main base. And you're going to build your Stargate. I don't know if you saw that. You're also going to build gases. So when your probes do recall to the next base, you're able to put them in gas immediately and start pumping out void rays. You want to build 2 or 3, sometimes 4, depending. And start denying his mining, take away his money as soon as possible, especially his gas income, so he can't build things that shoot up. Stalkers, right? We're going to deny his income, and we're going to propel ourselves to a normal game as soon as possible. We're going to get a shield battery, just in case he sends his zealots over. I probably should have gotten that a little bit more quickly. We're going to get observers, we're going to get upgrades, we're going to saturate our second base, we are going to play a normal game. We are already a few hundred minerals ahead. We're going to get more ahead because A, we're better at the game, and B, you know, it's what day 9 says. When you're ahead, get more ahead. Or when he's doing something weird, just go kill him, right? We're going to make sure to scout the corner bases because, again, people who don't, you know, they want to avoid playing a normal game because they're not very good at the game. They're going to try and take a corner base to get one up on you. They're going to try and make the game as weird as possible so you get thrown off and they get cheap MMR off of you. Remember, we're just getting charged. Eventually, we're getting our Templar Archive so we can gas dump. We're getting upgrades, immortals, we're getting a well-balanced composition, so that when he inevitably builds 4 Dark Templars, you know, and that's like a quarter, a third of his army, he can't do anything and he has to tap out, and you not only don't lose your MMR, but you gain MMR. So this is a great strategy. It's almost more of a feeling rather than a hard build order to follow. But I really just wanted to share this because I feel like there's a lack of educational content on how to counter cannon rushing on YouTube right now. So I wanted to build this, or excuse me, make this video to show this. Again, not build, but kind of this concept rather to follow. It will not work every single time, but if you do this, I would estimate probably win 4/5, maybe 3/4 on the low end of your games versus cannon rushing because they just don't have the same game sense. They're just going to think, oh, this guy is raging and he's making me kill all his buildings or something like that. This will vary. You will have varying success based on how good the cannon rusher is, but ultimately, this is a great alternate strategy from just pulling your 4 probes, which isn't a bad strategy. It's very standard. Pulling your 4 probes, making your own cannons, what have you. You can also do that in conjunction with this strategy. I haven't practiced that, but I have found great success in doing this. So, just wanted to share that with y'all. You know, as a Protoss main, obviously I'm learning Zerg right now, and I love playing Zerg, but as a Protoss main at heart, I don't want to see people cannon rush. I want to, you know, stop that as much as possible, because I think it's probably the least fun way to play, other than maybe like Turtle Terran or something like that. So, you know, there's a great way to counter that strategy. But I don't know, let me know what you think. Obviously, I didn't play perfectly in this game, although this is, you know, a cleaner game than usual. But let me know what you think. Do you have any critiques? Would you change anything? How do you feel about the pylon first scout? I know that's controversial. But either way, I really appreciate y'all watching this quicker video just on this single strategy. But I will see y'all next time. Thanks again for watching. Bye.